Hello, so today I got a new 422 setup for you guys. Since the latest patch, I've tested out multiple formations, but I just believe the 422 is the way to go. It gives you like a really perfect balance of defending and attack since you got the two DMs, then you got the front four essentially with your left cam and right cam acting like a wingers and inside forward at the same time. So I'm going to show you how I set it up, why it works, and with in-game examples. Alright, custom tactics guys, build up style balance. I've always gone with balance because it just gives you a mixture between playing it quickly like during counters and playing it slowly as well. Defensive approach I went with high. Personally I don't like using 95 depth because I feel like it's a little bit too much for me mentally to keep pressuring. Is that a word? Pressure? Just keep putting pressure to my opponent for the full game because one mistake could cost you really greatly, especially if you're against like a really decent player. If you're not confident with your defending skill, you could go with 50, it works too, but anywhere below 50 I wouldn't recommend it because it just becomes too inviting. Like it allows your opponent to do whatever they want at the edge of your penalty box, which just isn't ideal. So 70 for me. Player roles, let's start with that interesting bit. So both strikers on advanced forward, but support means they're just gonna be participating in the build-up phase more, but strangely enough they just really consistently make runs into the wide areas. But on paper, complete should be the one that allows them to drift wide, but I don't know why. Complete, they just don't do that as often as I would want them to be. So on support is just the perfect balance for me. So both on support, meaning when Di Maria drift to the left side, Gittins is gonna be an central striker. I'm gonna show you clips later to clearly demonstrate this. Now then, we'll win the ball back here. Pass it to Ozillafc, pause. Ozillafc was my right cam in this game, and look at how Teo is being dragged by him. And I want you to pay attention to Gittins. He's gonna make runs like diagonally on the wing, exploiting the space behind Teo. Check this out. Look at that run. Hence, we got all the space to exploit. Then we can cut it back, recycle the ball, do some skills. Pick our passes, low driven, clean. Again, Gittins on the wing, and look at Di Maria here. He's our left striker. When both advanced forward is on support focus, when one is being dragged on the wing, the other will stay in the middle. That's why I find this setup so powerful. So then we pass it to Di Maria, we got all the space to exploit again. Did it feint, cut it back, easy finish. Okay, third example. We win the ball back. Dembele, our left cam. So see here, I sent him on a run by holding the L1 trigger. So my opponent's focus is all on Dembele here. But then check this out. Gittins make that run without me triggering it. So cams, we have both on playmaker balance. I think most people would prefer Shadow Striker, but for me personally, I just always find Shadow Striker just too aggressive, making those darting runs in behind, which hinders my build-up play. And I find Playmaker, they will do many build-up play work, but then they will make those late runs into the penalty box. You're gonna see in the examples in a minute. And half winger, I think, yeah, if you're struggling and don't see the width, you can have one on half winger and this advanced forward on attack. You could make a tweak and see which one you like, but personally the striker is enough at providing width for me already. So I'll have my playmaker, my cams on playmaker. They will act as a dual number 10, but at the same time, when they see there's a width to be exploited, they will act as a winger. That's why it's so powerful. Alright, so here's one of the easiest way to score with this 4-2-2 setup. So we win the ball back here. As soon as I got the ball with my DM, I've sent Lookman, our right cam, on the run. Then we send it to a right striker. Bang. Through ball. And we're in. Travella. That's why I just prefer strong foot on the strong side, because in these 1v1 situations, like center backs are so quick these days, like many of them are on 95 pace or even more, and they are on lengthy usually, so they will catch up to your attackers unless you're using like Mbappe or stuff. So hence I just really want to take my shot early, and Travella is just the best option for that. Then look at this example. Again, Dembele on a run, our left striker on the ball here, waiting for the perfect moment to release. Again, we got all the space. Travella. Dembele on a playmaker, he will still make runs consistently. And look here, he's acting as a winger in this clip, dragging all the defense away, and then allow our left striker Di Maria to have all that space. And my opponent is panicking at this point, so let's see what happens next. Fake it, I've cancelled our power shot, and nice assist. We use our pace with Gittins. Look at it, this is Dembele on playmaker, not even like shadow striker, but he will still make runs inside the box. That's why I just prefer playmaker over shadow striker, because playmaker offers you way more during build-up phase as well. Matuidi, ping it to a right striker. Some skill, laid it off to a left striker. Look at that run by Dembele, Jesus. Wait, rewind. He's on the playmaker balance, not shadow striker. But he still make that run aggressively, which literally took De Winter out of the game, his right centre back. Hence, we got all the space to exploit. I decided to tease a little bit more. Elastical, though driven again. Matuidi again. Here's a clip of Dembele playmaker but acting as a winger. So we got all the space on the wing to use, dance a little bit, then pick our pass. Lookman, our right cam, is offering himself in this area. It's basically the left side of the pitch, but he's not even on roaming. He's on balanced playmaker. Then some skill, I believe, yep. To Di Maria, skill, cancel. And he's making that late runs into the box again. That's why I just find playmaker balance is the perfect way to utilize your two cams in a 4-2-2 setup. Green. Then CDMs, one on holding, one on deep line playmaker. Honestly, you could just do this, but personally, it's not about the plus or plus rows for me, but it's because look at this map. So Matuidi is going to be slightly in front of Pirlo. It gives a little bit of a, instead of being like super level like this, I prefer them to have a little bit of a layer in their position. It gives me a better passing options between them, I believe. And Pirlo on deep line playmaker. I don't like roaming, and I don't like build up. I feel like build up is a bit too much. Like sometimes he will act as a cam, and defensively, he's just not quick enough to like come back. But if you got a Hullet, maybe you can try that out. I haven't really got my hands on a Hullet. Yeah, I just feel like the pace, unless you got someone really pacey as a CDM, I would recommend just have them like DLP, stay back. They will still offer themselves in a quite advanced area because of your cams making movement consistently. So it's not like they're gonna stay back and not offering you any passing options when you want to recycle the ball. So yeah, but then just try it out, because I just feel like it works with different players as well. And the CDMs are not as important as the front force instruction personally for me for this 4-2-2 setup to work, I just don't think you can play with it. That's what I'm saying. Then for the fullback, I have them both on fullback balance because I just don't like defend. Like, sure, if you go with fullback defend, you're gonna be defensively really compact. But then, because this is still a 4-2-2, a slightly narrower formation on paper, these two fullbacks will offer themselves at quite an advanced area sometimes. When you're like taking your time to build up the play, they will offer themselves the width for you to work around defenders. I'm going to show you clips later again. Yeah, so that's why I got them on balance. But if you're really struggling in defending, especially against, you know, everyone using is using 4-2-1-3, playing counter attacks, leaving their wingers staying in front of the pitch, then maybe you have to play on defend. But personally, I think I can still defend pretty well with this setup. So yeah, have a play. So we got in behind with Di Maria, didn't have the pace, so I turned it back, sent people on run. Look at how I sent Zé Roberto on the run. Dembele make the run by himself, I believe. Borrow scoop. Then we just overload the left side completely, and it's an easy tap in. For the center backs, nothing fancy. Defender defend. I have actually tried was it this one in a build up. It's pretty crazy. They actually like act as a CDM during the build up phase, but in the meta of the game, just don't do those stuff. It's suicide. And for the keeper, it's purely personal preference, I feel like. I went with sweeper keeper build up because Mandanda has 5-star skill, so I just want to mess around with him sometimes. But then, yeah, just personal preference, up to you. And lastly, I'm going to show you guys a couple of clips of different roles like interacting each other and making it work. So yeah, enjoy. Nice press by me. We'll win the ball back, pass it to Dembele. Not much I can really do there. Pass it back. Then look at Di Maria here. Covered by the controller a little bit, but look at how he made that run to the wide area. We ping it to him, which got all the space. We can dance. Pass it back to Lookman. Another pass, Elastico, finish. So I'm not saying you have to do all those skills, obviously not. But you can really just use this setup to exploit the wide areas and drag usually the back 6 in a 4-2-1-3. You can drag the defense and got so much space to work with. Here's another example. Pirlo, pass it to Di Maria. Look at this diagonal run by Dembele. Feint a little bit, Elastico again. I was being forced wide here, but then I find Cuadrado. Quite an advanced area for a fullback because he's on balance. Now we wiggle a little bit, wait for that pass. Lookman, our right cam, is offering himself in the right half space. Now my opponent is forced to decide whether to continue tracking back with his CDM or switches to his centre back to defend. It didn't switch in this case. Low driven again. I've been testing out the low driven recently and it's really strong. So if you guys want a dedicated video on that, let me know in the comments down below. So yeah, that's my 4-2-2 custom tactics. Let me know what you think about that. And if you're still hesitant to do the Adeyemi SBC, I've got a video somewhere here. You should go watch it.